What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's going good. I mean, I think it's the best album yet. I suppose you must feel that anyway. Most artists do, and they always, you're always trying to top the last album. But I think we really did it with this one. Right from the word go, there was like a magic to this album. It's like, and obviously Harry, I'm writing for Harry Conklin's voice. Basically that's a blank canvas because he can sing anything great. And before I felt you are kind of limited by, the capabilities of your singer. And the last singer we had, George was great, and he was another one that can sing anything really, really well. But other singers, that hasn't been the case. I've been sort of, you write songs to be within their capabilities, but you can do anything, with Harry, because Harry will sing anything great. So I was able to really kind of dig deep with this one, and it's one of the albums that we started off with definite criteria before we even started, because the main thing behind Heathen Cross is, like I revisited all the albums I used to love, and you keep going back to like Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and Made in Japan, Deep Purple, and Thin Lizzy albums and stuff. And I'm going like, well, there's a magic to them. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's because a lot of albums are kind of processed these days. It's all sort of Pro Tools, and they take out that sort of live energy that these old albums had, because it's like the band playing in the studio, and you capture that sort of that moment, and you capture the sort of the excitement and the adrenaline of the band, and it seems to make its way onto the grooves. So in the old days, you used to make them like that, like the first album, and Dominator was made like that. And I was thinking, well, is there any reason why can't we go back and do that? So the criteria was, we want to capture the energy of the band, sort of live kind of power in the studio, instead of it being very sort of static and everybody sort of comes in and does their thing. There's nothing wrong with those other albums. Like the songs are great and everything, but we wanted to get that sort of organic sort of band playing together kind of vibe, and it really worked, and the guitars are recorded at the same time and all of this. So we wanted to capture that in the first place, and I think we have got a great producer. Patrick Engel is kind of a sort of a genius, really, over in Germany.
Cool.
And it was kind of, we made all the backing tracks like in England, and then Harry sent the vocals from Thessaloniki
Ah,
in Greece, and it was mixed and mastered in Germany. So there was a lot went into this album, but we're real pleased with it, and no fillers anyway. They're all kind of killers on there, and they've all got their own identity. And we wanted to capture the sort of the essence of the band from like the early days. That sort of, I think it's probably why it's a little bit more sort of a cult themed, because we revisited ourselves, like, and wanted to stay really true, because we do all our sort of market research, because like with the fans, we're not one of those bands that hide away at the gigs. We're out there, we're meeting the fans, like, and posing for photographs and signing autographs, because they show their love to us. So the least we could do is, you know, show our love back, like. But it's great at the gigs, because also they're telling you what they love about the band and stuff, and you get an idea, exactly what they love about us. So I try to sort of take all that on board and give them the album that they really want us to do, more than anything. And I kind of, over the years, I try and write as a fan anyway, because for Cloven Hoof, like it's already, it's got its bandwidth and its parameters, and I know what we can't step beyond. And a lot of musicians, they might be into like jazz rock or something this week, and they bring it to the band, and it doesn't. It's sort of ruined it, like,
yeah.
where's your identity? Like, we thought we were going to get this album. So I try and do that anyway, but I really went all out on this one. I was thinking, I really want a real sort of crowd pleaser album. And so that's how it kind of started off, really, with that sort of criteria, give the fans exactly what they want, like, and we get off on it anyway. So There we go.
Well, May 31st cannot come sooner enough. Very,
Oh
very
no. Oh man.
exciting.
I just
Um,
said, the CD. We got the albums coming
oh,
on the vinyls on Friday. I can't wait. I'm like a school kid again. I really want that. I want to hold I want to hold the album up and everything. Because like I never grew out of it. Like I love metal like so much. It just changed my life. And it wasn't called metal back then. It was progressive rock, like and sort of Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and then you got the prog bands. But with everybody sort of labeled sort of progressive in those days. But I remember getting the albums and I'd look at the sleeve, cover to cover, like, and I'll be transported into another world, like hearing these albums. And like I I get it, like I just lock myself away, like and get taken into another world. So hopefully that's why our albums are kind of escapist, something you can put on, and we'll try and they're like mini movies really. A lot of our songs, they've got these science fiction and horror kind of storylines, and it's a throwback to what everything I love in an album anyway. Like, and hopefully you'll stick our new album and we'll take you to some incredible places. That's the idea anyway.
well, what's exciting about this release, and you even saying like it's the best record is, even more exciting,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
really.
coming out 40 years after the debut.
Oh man, like
Because
yeah,
2024,
I
84.
mean, yeah, I mean, not 1984, and then before that we had the opening ritual in 82. So
Yeah.
we're going like it's 44-year history, kind of thing, and you know, a band's lucky if it lasts a couple of years, like, and for us to still, everybody to still get off on the, we must be we must be doing something right, aren't we, to keep our families on. But like we're always trying to because I love them so much, like, and they're my prime sort of motivation, and I want to just keep on delivering the goods for them, like I just want to top the last one, and I think all our albums have got their own unique identity, and we didn't stay like playing the same song, like for 40 years, like we really got a wide sort of bandwidth, and I try to make some of the songs, like epic, and some of them more sort of straight ahead and everything, just to mix it up, because as musicians it just keeps it interesting for us as well. So like, and try and make it as imaginative as we can, really. So
How's it been working with High Roller Records for this?
they're they're a brilliant label. They really are, and they're metal to the bone. Like it's a great staff, and they're just so like loyal to us as well. Like, and they got me in touch with the brilliant Patrick Engel. What a producer he is. And I had I know exactly what Patrick likes, and we've got the same kind of music taste. And I'm thinking, you wait till you hear this one, you're gonna really love this album. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to go, yeah, like we've got the new album. We're really pleased with it and everything. We send it him, and I've still got his email. He was like going crazy, like every song I love, every song. So like, you kind of I knew he'd love that. I knew he'd love this album. But yeah, it's got everything. It's got a like fast epic, and everything we do well, really. And we've got the most killer vocalist. Like, he's really raised the bar there, Harry, because
Excellent.
it was always going to be a great vocals off it, but he's just blown me away every time. I was really looking forward to hearing the melody lines, when he sends us the files back, and they just blew me away, like, oh, geez, like, wow, you're thinking, is the next one, going to be, but they're all just massive standard. They're all fantastic, and he's such a lovely guy as well. Like, I feel very privileged at the moment, to have, to work with him, because he's some people get egos and stuff, but he hasn't got one. He's just such a lovely, down to earth guy, and he's just so professional. And I love singers that can, without aggression. He really knows how to act out a song. He really lives it, and you really believe it's happening to him. Like, and all the best singers can do that. But Harry's got like the range and the aggression, and it doesn't need any coaching, like most singers, you kind of have to kind of school them through it, the kind of thing. None of that. It just comes back, like sounding fantastic and exactly how you would have liked. So yeah, I can't praise him enough. Like he's done a phenomenal job on all the vocals on this album.
Excellent, excellent. You touched on it a little bit, but what was the band's creative chemistry like when putting together this record?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, it started off differently as well this time. I mean, normally what happens is I normally sort of go into the studio, just me, and with a producer, and we kind of map it out, like with the drums, work out like where the drums are going to go before the drummer actually plays. And I play all the guitars and the bass and sing and everything else. So we got that demo, and then that's kind of given to the guys. The guys learn their bits and they come in the studio, and that's it. But this time, we did it slightly different. I had this, it's probably a good little thing to mention because I haven't mentioned it before uh, with anyone. This particular album, I had this sort of weird sort of dream, and I dreamt that we were making it in Cornwall, which I used to live. I used to live in Cornwall years and years ago, in this sort of haunted house. So it was a kind of a nightmare. But I was the guy working on the drums was our guitarist Chris Coss. And next day, I mean, I literally sort of dreamt bits of the song as well, which is just mental. It's mental. I'll
Wow.
bring it to the tape. So it right away, it's just got a weirdness to it anyway. So I was singing these bits, and so I dropped an email to Chris Coss the next day to tell him about I had this nightmare, but I was, you know, dreaming bits of songs and stuff, and you were working on the drums. He went, actually, I always wanted to have a go at the drums with the demo. And I went, I tell you what. I said, well, maybe, it's like a weird like message or something, but I'm gonna send you, my demo with everything. Go and work on the drums then, demo up the drums, and then what we'll do for the first time ever, we'll we'll get this demo, and then the whole band will just go down the rehearsal studio and learn it off this before I even go in the studio. So the songs feel lived in, like the old days. And he went, great. And he programmed these drums really well and stuff. So we were using those, to sort of play to, like in the rehearsal studio. And they were sounding great. And they were sounding kind of lived in right away. But you could tell how much the guys, like, they would just got off on these songs, just every single one of them immediately. And so the chemistry is like there right from day one. And also the weird thing is kind of the cover there, the Sabbath Stones. Because I was dreaming about Cornwall, it made me. I had the song for Sabbath Stones years ago. Probably in the days of the first album. Even
Wow.
I just couldn't find a storyline to do it justice. And so it's one of those that you really love, but it's on the shelf there until you can really do it justice. And I remember the story. There's the girlfriend who I was going out with when I lived in Cornwall. She told me this really great legend to do with the place where she was from in St. Cullum, and there's a church there, and they used to have standing stones on the village green by it, but there was like a weird legend attached to these stones. It was supposed to be like these young maids were dancing on the Sabbath day when they're not supposed to, and they turned to stone. And I went, what the hell? I've not used that before.
Very
It took a
fitting.
nightmare to make me think about it. I went, yeah, yeah. And so the stones were taken, the vicar made them move the stones from the village green and put them by the side of a wall. So they were there, and I was like going, yeah, the Seven Sisters and all this stuff. So it all came out, like it helped me formulate the song for Sabbath Stones.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's like weird, another strange thing and a little story, but there's a standing stones there, like
That's so
were
cool.
they the maidens turned to stone, like
A little bit of lore right there for
yeah,
the
yeah, right
cover.
away. So,
Uh,
these little things influence you, like, and like I'm always looking for sort of good song titles, but I'm amazed I didn't think of that before. that's just crazy. So yeah, nightmares, can be quite useful, really, can't they? Sometimes.
Well, the band's always had that supernatural,
Yeah.
element to them, and even the super early days. And I think even the last time I heard a band member talk about anything like that was like Paul McCartney talking about learning songs and dreams and stuff.
Yeah, I
So,
don't,
so that's crazy.
if he did, that's good enough for me,
Yeah.
You know what? I could have met him once, and I was just too nervous. Everybody else, it's fine. Robert Plant. I've met all my heroes at some point. But Paul McCartney, we were doing a session for Radio One, and the album came out of that a few years later, anyway. But we were where was it now? Yeah, we were at the Abbey Road. We were at Abbey Road in the basement because the singer had a cold and he couldn't finish it at Meadow Vale in which is the BBC's main studio. But he went, can you come back next week just to finish off the session, like at Abbey Road? So fine, we were in the basement and stuff. And we were talking about things, and he went, also, what influence have you got? I went, well, Deep Purple and Black Sabbath, obviously, like, and Thin Lizzy and Led Zeppelin and all these kind of bands. I went, but I also love melodies, like the first band I ever was into was the Beatles. He went, Paul's upstairs right now, and he went, if you can time if you time it right, just get a coffee. He's dead guy, dead nice guy, and and he'll be talking away, you two being bass players and everything, and you use a Rickenbacker and stuff. He'll love all that. Do you know what? I couldn't do it. I'm thinking I'll just leave him a god, because normally, like when you meet them, most of heroes, they're lovely guys, Planty and Rob Alford have been fantastic for us before in the past. But the things when you meet them, they're kind of human again. So if you don't meet them, they can still be gods. Do you know what I mean? I think Robert Plant told me it was Joni Mitchell. He could have met Johnny Mitchell, but he didn't for the same reason. He went
Wow.
to be untouchable, so he didn't. So there we go. He said, "I wish we hadn't met Elvis, really." Either. So, but there you go. But like Paul McCartney, wow, like he's incredible. Great,
Yeah,
great
yeah,
memory lane.
totally. I can totally relate, man. It's like I think any member of like Black Sabbath, I don't think I can ever meet. And the part of like interviewing and stuff, like of course you kind of have to meet,
Yeah,
your
exactly.
heroes. It's kind of a part of it. But there's like Ozzy. He's like a cartoon character to me.
I've
It's like
met
he's like
I
a
met
cryptid.
Ozzy.
You've met him.
I met him when he was like well crazy. So,
When was that?
oh, here we go. Yeah, I'll tell you the Ozzy one. It's a pretty good story. Uh, right, our manager, a guy called Raymond Froggatt. He's a really fantastic songwriter and a really good sort of country western musician in his own right. He's written songs for Rod Stewart and all sorts of people, all sorts. He's a great songwriter anyway, and he knew Black Sabbath like real well because his guitar player H. Kane, he's Ozzy's next door neighbor, right? And
Wow.
because when they were like struggling little, sort of new little band, they wanted to support Froggy because Froggy was playing these great places. So they did. They supported him a few times, like as Earth, when they were called Earth and stuff. So he's known Ozzy like always. And I think when we went to their studio, it's like right away, he saw the potential in us immediately because you're going to be the new Black Sabbath kind of thing. So we wanted to manage us, and he eventually got David Hemmings, who he managed like Judas Priest, and he was Black Sabbath's road manager and all this kind of thing. Anyway, so what happened was he got this phone call right at the studio, and it was Ozzy, and he was like going like, "Oh man," he said that, come over, like come out to my house, I'm really pissed off with things, and he'd fallen out with Sabbath, and basically what happened, Don Arden, which is like Sharon's dad, like he'd taken everything back, kind of left him with hardly anything. So he went, yeah, Ozzy's in a bad state. He went, you want to meet him, don't you? And I went, fuck yeah, like, oh my God, what? Yeah, who've I got to kill? So, went over to his house and stuff, like, and the arse is hanging out of his trousers, like his jeans are like sort of wrecked, and there's nothing in the house, like, there's like furniture missing and everything. And he went in the fridge. He's got some cans of booze, but there's no food or like anything, He's really done a number on you. And he went, well, for God's sake, he goes, what's happened? Like you've really upset him. And he went, yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, he even named his dog Ozzy. And he said, think about it, like, oh yeah. He says, he's like lying around. He goes, nothing here. He goes, you've got all these gold and silver records on the wall and stuff, and nothing, that got cleaned it out. And he went, do you know what? I've never played any of them records. And he got one down from the wall, paranoid. He went, broke it over his knee, the glass. He put it on, and do you know what? That
What?
album wasn't even Black Sabbath.
What
It's
was it?
just like a gold sprayed record. God knows who the singer was. It's just a record kind of sprayed kind of thing. And he went, this isn't Black Sabbath. And he's like getting the rest of them down, breaking them up, putting them under his arm. He went, follow me. And he went out into the garden. We went, what's he doing? And he had all these records. He goes, okay. He says, right. And he went in his like shed thing, and he come out with like a shotgun. And I went, oh geez. He went, right, that record, throw it as high as you can. So I threw it up, and he's going like, like shooting at it, like, and I think he hit a few of them, but he was starting to hit like people's roofs and chimneys and shit. And like, and it was like, oh, better calm him down, this is dangerous.
Oh.
And he goes, you've had too much to drink, for doing, for shooting things. And Ozzy goes, I'm fine, I'm completely sober. He goes, no, you're not. And he goes, look, I could drive my car, right, blindfold down that country lane. And we went, no. He went, no, I mean it. And he got in his car and he ripped his t-shirt and he put it on like a blindfold, right? And off he tootles down the road. And to be fair, he would have made it, except a tractor came out of the side and like hit him and knocked him down a ditch.
Oh my
Like, oh,
God.
we've killed Ozzy, kind of thing. So they took him, the ambulance got there and they took him down the hospital in Stafford. And like Froggy went and visited him the next day, and instead of sort of blaming us or anything, like you could have got me killed, like he said you should have stopped me. He didn't. He went, totally wrong. I would have done it. He goes, yeah, you would have made it except for the tractor, like, so yeah, amazing. So
Oh, that's a
yeah,
great, what a day.
proper. That's a proper hero in it. You know what I mean?
That's talk
You
about
know,
living up to the name.
genius. Yeah. I mean, I love them so much, like, and those albums still make me feel the same as like when I first heard them, like just I mean, Sabbath's just the best thing they've ever done, like, but killer albums, aren't they? Absolutely genius, like, and
Sabotage is like my favorite.
yeah, Sabotage, fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
Symphony Universe and Hole in the Sky and everything. Amazing.
Megalomania.
Megalomania, yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Amazing album. Uh,
You must have told that story before.
I don't think I have actually
That's
on
a
the.
classic
Yeah,
story. That's
it's a good
such a good
one.
story.
It's a cool story in it, yeah, yeah. But it's like sometimes it's kind of surreal, like you meet your heroes, and you just feel very humble, like being in their presence, really. But the main secret is, don't be be the musician, like don't be a fan, because then at least it's on their level, like, and I mean, when I think back, crazy. What a crazy life, So it's like with Michael Schenker, like I always had a poster of him on my wall, kind of thing. And I got to hang out with him because we had the same tour uh, sort of agent kind of thing. And I hung out for him like a few weeks, and that was fantastic. And he's such a lovely guy as well.
I've
Very
heard.
he's very religious. Like and stuff. I had a cross. He didn't have a cross, so yeah, you have this. I gave him the cross. I wonder if he still got it.
I bet he
But
does.
yeah, I bet he has, like, and Rob Alford and Robert Plant, they were so kind to us, like when we were starting out, a young band. We met Rob with when in the early days when we couldn't get a singer, and we wanted the local radio station to put it out there, a metal band, like we can't find a singer anywhere, like is there anybody out there? And noticed Rob was going to be at the. I went, that's fantastic, like we'll just see Rob Alford if we can. So we just sat outside, like on the wall from to finish about like 12 o'clock at night or something, and came out, and there's Rob, and he went, "You've just got to be a band like you three." I went, yeah, yeah. He said, you got a demo tape, and he'd say, yeah, and there's no singing on it, but there's just the tracks. He went, let's have a listen. So they went in and put it on, and he couldn't believe it. He goes, this is, you're like little kids, like 19, 18, 19. And he said, but this is like 40-year-old musicians. You can't possibly play this good. And that was a real nice kind of and he said, well, when you get a singer, like I really want to hear it. And he took me number and stuff. So he said, when I come back next time, let's see if you got a singer. And I had a phone call from my mom. She goes, Rob Alford. Somebody called Rob Alford just rang here. I went, uh, it can't be true, but there you go. And you got to meet at this pub like in Wolverhampton, kind of thing. So we went in, and yeah, it's Rob. We got the singer. I goes, yeah, here it is. Give me the demo tape. He said, I got to play this. He said, if it's really good, I'll take it into Radio One for you. And so he did. He took it into. There's a show called Tommy Vance radio show, and it was like the main show to be on because a lot of bands got a break from being on the BBC Radio One. It was an institution. It's a real big deal to be on that show. So we had Rob Alford took it in, and the same week, my mate went, "Do you know what? I know where Robert Plant lives." He goes, "Why don't you drop it in his mailbox?" And I went, go on then. So it's not too far from where I live right now. And uh, and I was just going to drop it in his mailbox. And it's got like it's the only house with an American mailbox that you get out. I just put it in there. And I was wearing a Wolves shirt. It's a soccer team in England. I support Wolves, and Planty supports Wolves. So out of nowhere, this voice goes, like the shirt. Look around. Oh shit, it's Robert Plant. Oh my god, like, and he goes, "You a band and everything?" Yeah, it's a demo type. He went, oh, "Let's have a listen." I'll take it if it's really good. I'll give it Tommy Vance. I'm doing Tommy Vance.
Oh my
The same
God.
week we had Rob Halford and Robert Plant taking our demo tape, and then we got the call from the BBC. Like he went, "Well, we got to give you a session." Rob Halford and Robert Plant both your demo time. So, God bless them. That got us our start, like, and we played on there, and then we got got a record deal and everything off it. So, uh, wonderful, wonderful people, to
Wow.
help out a new band like that. We were just really super lucky, weren't we? So, oh well, they kind of liked our stuff. So.
Talk about networking. Seriously,
I
that's
know, yeah, yeah. So, to all those bands starting off, you've just got to have balls of steel, like, and when you're young, you want to take on the world. I can't believe what we used to do. We just, like, would you put yourself through that again? Oh, I don't know, probably if I was. But yeah, we were just so motivated, really.
Well,
And
that's what new bands I think need to realize. Like, you got to take it into your own hands. You can't
yeah,
just put out when Pro Tools make an album, throw it on Spotify and wait. Where's the fans? You got to put in the effort. You got to really put yourself out there. And you guys
that's
are a
right.
shining example of that.
Yeah, and we, it's like even down to Jeff Barton, really. At the time, sounds was like the heavy metal sort of Bible, even before Kerrang. Like Jeff was the editor of Kerrang. He basically, he new wave of British metal. It's basically him, really. Like you can hear loads of things, but Jeff Barton was the most important guy in the business. And I just went, well, we still didn't have a singer, like at that time, like, and I had my demo tape. I went, I'm going to go see Jeff Barton. Straight down to London, like, and that's it. I went to their offices and stuff, and I think they were in Covent Garden back then, before they went to Fleet Street and become a big deal. And yeah, Jeff Barton, and give him the tape and everything, and he kind of liked my attitude and stuff, and he had a listen, and he went, I'll be, when you get a sing, like, and so in the end, we ended up on his Breaking Through in '82, like we were there, like, I think there was Motley Crue and Twisted Sister, like, and us, like a few, these will be the next big thing kind of thing. And yeah, it was kind of cool, but that's once again, like you've got to believe in what you do and push it, so.
For sure, and that's why I'm very happy to promote the new record, Heathen Cross. It's
Thank
awesome.
you so much, mate.
Now, you brought out you went back to some of your influences
Yeah.
for this record. At what how and when did you discover your earliest influences personally?
Um, it's it was amazing, like it was. I was at school, and a real good friend of mine, he knew I was into bands like Slade and Sweet and those sort of. But I like the sort of more sort of upbeat, sort of powerful kind of songs. And he said, "You know what? I think there's a band that you're really gonna love, like." And he didn't tell me even who they were. He just gave me this tape, and it was kind of last day of school, before the holidays. And I thought, oh, great, like this. Never wrote what the tracks were or the band or anything. I just had this tape. So I was on holiday, like with the parents and stuff. Uh, about 60, I think about. No, I was 50. No, I was 14 or 15, something like, yeah, 14, I think. And so anyway, so I'm bored on holiday in the end. I thought, I'll go and stick this tape he's given me, put it on, and it was like, oh my God, it was just like a thunderbolt from heaven. This is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. And after the first track, I sort of went to my dad. I went, you got to listen to this. This is just like, like unbelievable. The best band of all time. Listen to this. And like dad had a listen. He went, the guitar is really good, like, yeah, this is really good. Who is it? I went, I've got no idea. And he said, and then the second track came on, and he loved that as well. So both of us were real, by the time of the holiday, we'd dying to find out who this band was. And if and I've never heard a guitar played like that, with all these arpeggios and everything. And the album turned out it was Deep Purple, and it was made in Japan, and it was Highway
Ah,
Star. It was Highway Star, and it was Smoke on the Water, obviously the next one. And Highway Star was just like so fast and powerful, and the screaming vocals and everything. And I went, this is amazing. I've got to go and buy this album. And I said, have you got anything else? He went, yeah, there's another band you might like. And I went, let's have a look. He said, I've got their debut album kind of thing here. Let's have a look at it. Hey, it looks kind of good, I opened up the cover, and an inverted cross. Look at that, like rabbit. Was it rabbits born in traps, gesticulating death? Oh, this is very interesting. I think I was into him before I even like put the thing on. And it's, of course, it's Black Sabbath's first album, like any. Jeez, I love these just as much. And the it was the same year as Sabbath the Bloody Sabbath, like, and the next one they released was Sabotage, like, and I love them so much. And then it was like, okay, what else we got? Like, and Zeppelin 4, like, and it was just like magical, Every band he was bringing in, like Wishbone Ash as well. I think it's brilliant,
nice.
and the Fantastic Twins, beautiful. And so that was it really. I got to thank him, like I still see him now, like he's still playing, like a guy's called Chris Clousley, and he played in a band called Stampede, Lawrence Archer, and like he went to play with Phil Lynott in Grand Slam, kind of thing. And but my mate, like I got a lot to thank for, and he also got me to prog rock, with it sort of like with Yes, and I love Chris Squire's bass playing, and he's the growly sound he gets, plugging into 2 amps. Although it did take me a long time to work that one out, like. Because you get your Rickenbacker and you get your amp and you go, it still doesn't sound like Chris Squire, does it? This, but then you find out about splitting the amps and having one with a lot of distorted sound, and you mix the two and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, it
So
took
how
me.
did you get into bass?
Yeah, well, I originally started off on guitar, and it was good. It was like good groundwork really for composing, like later on. But the thing is, the things I really loved. I was picking out the bass bass lines. No, I was going like, yeah, but that's not the guitar, is it? Like kind of thing. And then I went to see Rush on their very first ever tour of the UK on the 2112 tour.
Ooh.
There was only about 12 people there. Nobody knew about it, but Jeff Barton recommended him. So I'll go check these out. And blown away. And it was like, yeah, you could stand where you like. And I watched Geddy for a bit, and I watched Alex, and watched Neil stuff. And it was like you had Rush to yourself kind of thing. You could stand where you like and just watch. And, of course, by the next tour on Farewell to Kings, it was absolutely rammed. You could hardly get in. But I saw him on that first tour, and I learned more at that gig than anything. Like the way like Geddy would take the melodic bass line and stuff, and you could hear the way everything was broke down. That was like a master class watching those. And that's I kind of get it sort of gravitating all towards the bass lines. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to play bass because I really get off on the sound of the bass, and the bass controls the track really. You can make it drive. It's like a science, bass playing. Sometimes you're going to lock in with the drums, but sometimes you're going to want to sort of mimic the guitar really, and at other times you're going to have weave a intricate bass line in between and stuff. And I just love the control the instrument has. I kind of played it a little bit like a bass guitar, like a lead guitar as well sometimes, sort of a lead bass kind of style. Um, and that's probably made it kind of sort of unique, really. The best compliment I ever had in my life was we had our album, we had Definitive mastered by John Astley, and John Astley's worked with the Who and Zeppelin, and he masters Priest, and all the massive bands. And he sat there and he's like listening to the stuff. He went, "Oh, yeah, you're playing arpeggio on the bass and stuff, like instead of the guitar." I said, "That's really original." He says, "Do you know who you remind me of?" He went, "It's very kind of John Entwistle." I went, "Jesus, that's a compliment."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He should know because he did all the Who albums, like, and so that was a really good compliment. But my kind of style, I sort of listened to a lot of Chris Squire as well. And Paul McCartney, he learned from Paul McCartney really. Just that melodic edge as well. So you can lock in with the drums, but also you can weave intricate melodic bass lines and stuff. So like those are the people really that and I learned a lot from Geezer Butler as well, like watching Geezer, because Geezer bounces up to the octaves and stuff. And he was very influenced by Jack Bruce, and I love Cream as well. Cream was uh, immense. Little bit before me, but I used to, I've got all the Cream albums and stuff, and and I love Wishbone Ash as well. With Turner's bass players. I've actually it's taken me all these years, and first time I actually bought a Gibson Thunderbird. I've just bought a new Gibson Thunderbird, like, and like, but a lot of my heroes played one of those. I'm amazed it's taken me so long, but it's just what it's going to suit our style as well, because the neck's like real thin at the top, and
Yeah.
quite a fast neck. Uh, but my favourite bass is my Chris Squire limited edition. It's worth a fortune, absolute fortune
That's
now.
so awesome.
I always play that around the house, like I'm always playing it. I got Geddy Lee uh, Fender Jazz bass as well, So those are my three favorite, and I love Spectre bass as well. Spectres make great. I've got a
Mm,
with
yeah.
this. PJ's you know, they make fantastic basses. So yeah.
Yeah, so you saw Rush. Now, what point in the timeline did so the band formed as Night Stalker?
Well, a lot of people say that, but we actually didn't. You know, we've always been Cloven Hoof, but Night Stalker was about the third song I wrote, and I think
Okay.
I think a couple of ex-band members, like, who we've kind of chucked out, that they like Night Stalker, but they couldn't play the song, you know. Like, so
Wow, so that's just a rumor then.
yeah, it's just a rumor. So I'm sorry, but no, it's not true. We've always been Cloven Hoof. So you got another exclusive there.
There we go. Yeah, wow. Too. That's crazy, man. So how do you reflect on making the band's first EP?
Wow. Yeah. I'll tell you what the most thing I remember most about that EP. It was because it's I'm you know, I manager Froggy again. He's what's he called? Motor was he Motorglade Studios? I think it was something like that anyway. Uh there's an English metal band called Witchfinder General, right, that were going at the time. And they had this most gorgeous model on the front, and I'm Joanna Latham, and she's from same kind of area, like around here originally. But I remember that I just remember going to the bathroom, coming out, and see this most gorgeous blonde in stockings and suspenders, and you know, like, and the girls were out, you know, like, and she just walked past me out, and I'm thinking, you're hallucinating, you know, like, this is just crazy, you know, like, at that age, all you think about is girls anyway. But I'm going like, women like that don't exist in real life anyway, especially like walking half naked, like, past you in just stocking suspenders. I mean, you know, you've been working too hard or something. And, and then later on, I went to the control room, and she's like lying across the control room. So they're doing the photograph for the album, you know. So
Yeah.
model, but yeah, and then they went out, and then we started opening ritual, you know. But I couldn't concentrate on anything but her, basically, like, at the time. So that's gonna stick in your head, you know, like, isn't it? You know, kind of thing.
Miss
Uh,
June
yeah, and it was
or
uh,
whatever. Yeah.
we were so well rehearsed though that the opening ritual went down in like no time at all, you know, because we knew it inside out and everything. Bang, a couple of takes, I think, the whole thing. And you know, we were young kids, and it's like a lot of people go like, well, that was the start of, you know, like, power metal, you know, like, kind of, because you were like, um, I think we were original because under our hood, really, we did love. There's a lot of prog rock influences in our playing, but Cloven Hoof were metal and aggressive. So really, we kind of fitted in there, just as Rush were the link between like Genesis and hard rock. We were like the link between Rush and heavy metal. You know, so we're like, we had all the intricate playing and everything of a prog band, but we were aggressive instead. So it wasn't actually planned. It's just the way it happened. We played really fast because we were nervous in the studio, I guess. You know, like, nerves in there, and we played faster than before. So we weren't trying to start, you know, hey, power, you know, we're going to be the pioneers of power metal. It's just the way it happened. And like our song structures as well, it wasn't just like verse, chorus, you know, solo, whatever, chorus to the end. It was like back to sort of classical influences of they were like musical movements like Gates of Gehenna and Return of the Passover. They're actual like music pieces, and it doesn't fit into like standard, you know, standard like rock at all. So you know, we had these elaborate storylines and these sort of epic kind of songs which probably could last 9 minutes or 6 minutes, whatever. It was just, you know, we were just experimenting, you know, like, and we didn't know what the rules were, so we didn't know we were breaking any rules or anything. But a lot of people sort of say that, you know, it's like we were one of probably the first power metal band because we weren't like standard sort of rock fare that was going on there. We were trying to make more imaginative kind of tracks, really. And like in 9 minutes, you know, there's a lot to say in that 9 minutes, you know, like,
Yeah.
well, 3 minutes, bang, it's out, you know. It's quite funny, like when we got the Radio One session, because we had David Hemmings, and David Hemmings went, right then, we got all the elaborate ones, and I understand that. He said, I have to do the same things like I did with Priest, with you lot, you know, you need to get radio play, like you got to write one in 3 minutes, write an AC/DC song. And I went, but the session, it's in 3 days, like he went, get on with it. I went, okay. So I've got to write a song that we're going to play in 3 days on the, like Radio One. So the lad says, so what we're going to do? I went, I don't know, like I'll try and think of something tonight. And then we just had like one rehearsal with Crack the Whip, bang, straight into Radio One. And do you know what? That track got so much airplay, and it's been on numerous compilation albums and everything. And it was just something that you just like, what do you think? And they went, yeah, I love it. It's really man, really immediate. And it goes down fantastic live. Everybody's singing along. It's like party time. So I'm really glad he kind of made me do that. But I was really on the spot, like it's like right now, just do it.
That's
And
so funny. That's so interesting. That's some of the best songs that come out of like pressure. Like even
yeah,
Paranoid, it was the same thing,
yeah, yeah.
you
Paran
know?
I think they because I think he was around at the time actually, and I met Tom Allen. Tom Allen was with what's his name, Roger Bain. They were in the studio, right, and he was the engineer. Tom Allen was, and it later produced Priest. And it's incredible because like upstairs there was a stop motion. I don't know if anybody else knows this, but there was a stop motion studio that they get like animation, like move it like a puppet and then film it and everything upstairs. And they had like Black Sabbath downstairs. And that makes that was like so powerful that the guys were complaining, about that band you had earlier on. Everything's moved. So everything and made everything shake, and it kind of ruined their production upstairs. But well, that's great. And I don't think Geezer at the time had actually heard a bass like Di or anything, like so yeah, it was
Wow.
amazing. He said just the riffs, like right away. Tom Allen just said they were just blown away by these fantastic riffs, like every song kind of thing. And it's nice to meet these people, isn't it? Really, if David Hemmings hadn't have died, like during negotiating with like CBS at the time, when we were number 18 in the metal charts, that's the worst thing ever. But it left us with loads of sort of legal pressure then, and loads of people reckoned they owned a piece of the band, and it was like 8 years of sheer nightmare, with uh, all these people owning, renting they owned a piece of the band. And I mean, if he hadn't died, but Roger Bain would have got out of retirement, and he was going to do our first album, which would have been,
Wow.
like yeah. So yeah, it's going back, but I mean, the big thing was, it's a real big deal, like was lined up for us and everything, and for him to die so tragically like that, and he just left us with so many, we were like flavour of the month at the time. It was like we were invited down to London as CBS's new big band kind of thing, and for it to go pear shaped, like well, Froggy gave me a great bit of advice actually. He said, like we've watched about a £5 million record deal, like ripped away from you. And he said, I know you're disappointed. He said, but there's two things you can do. Like you can dust yourself down and just keep on going. And he said, no, with your music and stuff, he said, your fans will eventually find you. And it might take you longer. He said, but I think there's no two ways about it. Like you'll definitely make it one day. Kind of thing. I mean, that's great. I mean, what was the other bit of advice? And he said, well, being as you've, like lost all that money, you could go to a really high building and jump. So I went, so plan A then, we'll go with the first idea, like, so that's it. We've been doing it ever since. But yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Well,
No,
I'm happy
that's
you went with the
advice.
other one. Oh,
And here we
wow.
are. And here we are.
And here we are. Many years later. So that self-titled record is so iconic from the music on it, from the I think the cover's iconic.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
how do you recall the writing and recording process of that record, and how did the label treat you?
Oh God, yeah. I mean that was an interesting one as well. You know, you go back to the weirdest. Well, the Cloven Hoof song is always like, oh, you know, we stopped playing it for years because we kind of, in the end, you know, it just freaks you out, you know, all the weird stuff. But we had when we went to Neat, this was a serious one because we're telling like you know the producer guy at Impulse Studio Newcastle. You know, like had like Venom in and everything. And he goes, you know, like Clover Noof song. And I said, yeah. I said, I hope we don't get any crap happen. You know, like he said, how do you mean? I went, oh, we've had all sorts of things. We got struck by lightning on a summer's day. You know, like, and all the gear went off when we played this track. I went, Christ,
Crazy.
and we was the first time I ever got it, you know, like we had weird stuff happen, like the guitar player, this witch's room thing. I got my girlfriend to get, you know, a real, you know, witchy spell, you know, kind of thing. And I was thinking, oh, this will be dead cool, you know, like, and I had this spooky guitar bit and stuff, and I got the guitar player we had, and I showed him the sort of finger picking thing. Okay, so he's playing this, and I was singing the you know the witch's room kind of thing, and his other guitar suddenly went fell off the stand and went clattered on the floor. He went, somebody threw that guitar, you know, like, and he went, that's it, I'm out. And he went out the house. He went out my house. He left his guitar and everything. And he was back in about 10 minutes. He went, have you seen this? And there's like full moon and the clouds going across the sky. He was
Oh
shitly
my
terrified. And he went, will you walk
god.
me home? I went, what, down the railway? Spookiest railway you could think of. There's supposed to be like Ghost the White Lady down there. I went, yeah, go on then. Because I'm thinking, I'm going to walk you back home, and I got to walk back on my own through all of this spooky like railway and stuff. And anyway, so I did, and got back. I got back to the house, but it had a weird atmosphere. You know, like I was putting all the lights on in the house and shit. Fell asleep. Fell asleep on the settee. Mom and Dad got back in the morning. All the lights are on in the house. What the hell's going on? Kind of funny. But you know, we've had weird stuff. We used to rehearse at a place called it's a church. It's called Holy Joe's, and Rob Alford did mentioned it in one of his songs on one of his solo albums. And loads of people have rehearsed there, like Slade, and we had and Robert Plant used to rehearse there. You know, like dead cool kind of school. Well, anyway, we were playing the Cloven Hoof track, same bit, Witch's Room part, and the power went off, and we're completely in the dark. Jeez, just can't see anywhere. And we opened the door, and the vicar came in with his candle and everything, looking, you know, hello, boys. We nearly had a heart attack, you know, kind of thing. And so the singer we had,
Wow.
he left. He went, he said, because he rang me. He said that this song, he went, I'm going over the lyrics and this stuff. I felt like something was holding my legs. He said, where did you get this from? And, you know, I had to tell him actually it was, yeah, like real witchy spell. He said, I'm not going to sing anymore unless you cut bits out of it. So I did. But he ended up leaving anyway. So anyway, so we got the up at Neat, you know, we like telling the producer weird stuff. Get to the Cloven Hoof track, Witch's Room bit, you know, the studio just went, everything went, and he went,
That's great.
oh my God. And nothing he could do, nothing would work. And he went, you might as well go back home. So all the way to Newcastle, we come all the way back home. When I got back home, I had a phone call. He went, everything's working now you've gone home. He said, come back tomorrow. And so we went up,
Wow.
like, recorded the Cloven. He said, but can you get rid of some more of this wishy spell thing? Okay, so I'm cutting it out. So the witchy spell that's in there now, it's like in the song, but it was a lot longer. So that's gone. So weird stuff. I mean, I all the time, you know. I mean, how many times has something got to happen before you actually go, there might be something in this, you know, like, and well, even like the tours of America, like we did back-to-back tours of America, and we had something weird happen all the time. And I was telling a guy called Kit who came to see us in New Orleans, and I'll tell him sort of all the weird stuff, you know, like, and I went, yeah, we've had amps break, we've had strings go all on the same witch's room bit. he went, God, he said, I'm going to see you on the Frost and Fire uh, concert, like in California. And he said, yeah, I'll be looking out when you play that song. Well, anyway, so we playing Frost and Fire. And I got this crucifix, and I just felt something like pull my crucifix off. I went, "Oh my God!" And I went to George to sing. I went, "Did you see that?" And he went, "What?" And he missed it. He went, "Your crosses ended up on the drum riser though. Here it is." But Kit saw it. He was watching from
Wow.
the side, and he went, "You just cross with like somebody pulled it off you." So what I did for the rest of the tour, I wouldn't wear a crucifix, and it was okay. So it doesn't like me wearing crucifixes.
Wow.
And
Have
it was
you
great. We haven't had anything weird happen to us after that. So if I can remember not to wear a crucifix, that'll be a good thing.
I don't want you to push your luck, but have you thought about re-releasing like the full track of that? You
Oh
said you
no.
you cut out a lot of it. Have you thought about maybe
What
releasing but
with all
the
the what the
original
whole
remain?
spell? Yeah, I got enough trouble with it as it is now. No, I once, on our first tour, when we went to Europe, we were playing the Dynamo Club in Eindhoven, and after that, there was like a, a bunch of kind of proper witches kind of thing, and they said you don't know that the Cloven Hoof, like the Church of Satan's got got Cloven Hoof, like first on the web, and it said worshippers at the feet of Lucifer, basically, like, and she went, with a name like Cloven Hoof, like you have this, and it was a cross, and it had like the goat's head, and it had cloven hooves on the other 3 points. Okay, it was the other way around. But the thing, but the thing is, it was kind of like sort of blessed at one of their ceremonies. So it's solid silver as well. I went, you're
Wow.
just going to give me this, like it's worth, you can melt it down. It's worth a few quid. He says, yeah, just never lose it, and I did. but I wonder that's why we had quite a bad luck, quite a lot of bad luck, like here and there.
Wow.
It makes you think, doesn't it? Like how many times has something got to happen before you actually just go like, yeah, there could be something in this, so
When's the besides the dream, when's the most recent occurrence? Has it been
the
a long
the most
time?
brilliant, yeah, the one that was brilliant was uh like we, ghost point of view, like I was on the Michael. When I was with Michael Shanky, like spent a few weeks on tour with him. Sorry, my dog's just like coming. What you doing? He's. We stayed at this old coaching inn in Stalebridge, and we were like sitting downstairs, talking away. It's about like 3 in the morning, something like that. And they went, okay, you got a gig tomorrow, like, so we want to get it. Everybody should go to bed. And I was in the old part of the place, and for the first time ever, right, I was walking down this hallway. It was kind of creepy anyway, and I heard this voice, and it was like almost like it's in your head, maybe like nobody's actually saying it, but it said it's a woman's voice, and it went, "Would you like to see me?" And I went, oh, shit, no. I kind of got to the corridor. I went, like, and my room was up another flight of stairs. Like I got in there. I'm some hard sort of beat. Jeez, I definitely heard. Would you like to see me? Like, and I went in and I sat down on the bed, put on the TV. TV wouldn't come on. Great, I got a fused TV. My nerves are shot to pieces here, and I'm just sitting there. And I looked up and I could see like the lampshade. It was like turning round. I went, well, I definitely hate that. So I took off my jacket and hung it on it to stop it moving anywhere, right? And then I'm lying in bed. I'm going like, I'm not going to go to sleep here, like, and I sort of said, well, I know you're here, right? I know you're here, but just fuck off, like I really need to get my head down. And I said, and if you appear in front of me, I'll join you. I'll have a fucking heart attack. I can't handle it. Leave me alone, kind of thing. So I lie down on the bed, and the bed went like that. I went, oh Christ, that's it. Like, and I was debating whether to. if I get out the window and hang myself and come back in the morning and no one's going to know I chickened out, like, but in the end, I was thinking, no, you just got to be brave, you just got to stay in, like, and the bed, this is a big, heavy bed and it moved like at least a foot from the wall. So I'm going like, shit, like, eventually, somehow I stayed there, you know, as much as I wanted to jump out of the window. Uh, and next morning, there's the band and everything. All right, lads, uh, had a good night. Yeah, yeah, we're all fine. Nothing, nothing weird happened. No, okay. I thought I'm not going to tell it. I'm not even going to bother telling her. So I went back to my room, and there was like all the maids and everything were in doing my room. I went, hold on a minute. I went, do you know this is really dead weird? I said, but last night, I swear on mother's life, definitely I was in bed, what I've just told you. And I said, and the bed moved. They went, can you help us push it back? We have this all the time. And I helped
Wow.
push it back. Three of us pushing the bed back. She went, the worst of it is, said, follow me. And we went outside. And in the hallway, there's this great big wardrobe with a big mirror in it. She went, normally we've had people like running out screaming that they can see this woman, this servant girl, appear in the mirror in the room. Like, I'd have had a heart attack, man. I said, so that's how many sightings they've had in there. Amazing. She went, and this is a servant girl, and she's not too bad. He said, but we got room, I think 20 or something. There's a nasty ghost in that one. You know, what the hell? But that was incredible. I mean, I'd never, like I had, we had, mum and dad had a couple of haunted pubs. Uh, it's like a presence, and I could feel it. I felt like the kid out The Shining or something. But I never wanted to see anything. Like I've been too scared. But I felt something's there. But that's the first time I ever heard somebody go, "Would you like to see me?" It's a proper woman's voice. Amazing. Yeah, so
That's
cool.
terrifying.
I know. But the thing is, I can say it now, but when I was there, Christ, like I don't, you get people, oh yeah, it's a ghost. I'd love to see it. No, you wouldn't. Let's be honest. No, you wouldn't.
Hard pass for me.
Yeah, yeah. I'll take a rain check on that. Like, yeah, yeah, it's incredible. But like there we go, Cloven Hoof. Look, that's this
Wow.
follows us about. Like, but there you go. I mean, it's got to happen to you, but I'll tell you what, like, the only people that are sort of, nothing's happened to them, but when it does, man, it just freaks you out, you know.
Yeah. Oh my. I have a fear. I have a personal fear of ghosts.
Yeah,
Because
I
when I was like
definitely
when I
don't
was
want
a
to see
kid, there
it
was
go.
TV shows on like ghost hunters and stuff, and I didn't know the difference if it was fake or real.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
you
good.
tell me these are like, oh my God, that's
Yeah, yeah,
terrifying.
it is.
Um,
But that room for the bed to move, I'm going like, ghosts won't hurt you. It moved a bed. It moved a really heavy bed. Took three of us to push the bed back. Like, so they can't hurt you. They can move a bed, mate. Like, so
that's
that was,
crazy. So
yeah, yeah.
I want to keep going. So how do you reflect on the status of the band after fighting back? How do you
Oh,
feel? What happened between everyone?
yeah, that's it's the usual. I mean, fantastic musicians, brilliant musicians. Steve was amazing. Like Froggy at the time, when Ozzy got Randy Rhodes, he goes, I can't believe how similar Steve is. He's just genius. He's like 18 and just like incredible. He'd play off the top of his head, and it sounds like he's composed the solo.
Wow.
We were doing on that Radio One session, like the engineer couldn't believe it. He goes, "Okay, for the solo," and he did about like four faultless solos, and Steve says, "Okay, then I'm ready." He already like he went. He said, "Trust me, we've got the solo down," and he wasn't even making the effort. So that's a true brilliant guitar player. When he's so melodic and it makes sense and everything. It wasn't just a load of you know bumblebee noises. That guy played melodic. Like He's amazing. So and Froggy reckoned he was just like Randy Rhoads, you know, like, and he should know, you know, because he met him loads of times. And he said it's just, you know, he's just like gifted, you know, like he's so good. And so and Kev was a great drummer. You know, both of them were really into Rush, you know, like as well, you know. So they had incredible chops. But the problem was the usual kind of band killer, you know, the girlfriend kind of thing.
Hmm.
I don't want you going around the world with this band. You know, why don't you stay at home kind of thing? And yeah, you have to put up with that stuff. So it was
It
the
happens.
drummer and the guitar player, you know, you get one girlfriend. Yeah, well, he's thinking of settling down and you should as well. And you know, that was never going to happen. Like with me, you know, like metal's everything, and you find out how much you really love it in these sort of situations. And there's only one thing you can do: you just carry on, keep fighting, isn't it? You know, like you
Yeah,
believe in something, you believe in music, you believe in metal, you keep going.
you
And
do, and you did. And what was it like putting together the band's second lineup?
yeah, it was quite tricky because I auditioned quite a few drummers really, and I never really, you know, felt the chemistry was there with them. You know, like you want people to really sort of pick, you know, because the bass and the drums work so closely. You've got to get somebody who's completely, you know, gelling together, you know, kind of thing. Almost, you know, you've it's almost like um you're second guessing each of what you're going to do, you know, like and the fills and stuff, you know, like and you it's so important to get the right chemistry. So I auditioned a lot of drummers, and in the end, John Brown turned up, and you know, like once I kind of got the drummer, then we started advertising, and there was a couple of really good guitar players. We wanted both of them, but somebody got a gig in America, so we got Andy Wood. And Andy and the vocalist we had at the time, he went, "Hey, I know a real," so I know a real good singer. He said he's a big fan of Cloven Hoof. He said he was in a band like in Tredegar with me, and which is the ex-members of Budgie. Um, uh, Great band. I love
So
Budgie.
good, so good.
And Tony Ball was the guitar player out of Budgie, and the drummer Ray Phillips. They formed a band called Tredegar, and Andy was in Tredegar, and Russ was the singer of Tredegar. And he says, and Russ is a massive fan. He's got your first album and everything, and he'd love the chance to sing with Cloven Hoof. I went, well, get him down for audition, and you know, in about 5 minutes, you know, you just when he hit these incredible notes, but super powerful. His top range was absolutely amazing, you know, and you know, that was a happy little band that was for a long time. But unfortunately, it's just a legal problem. Just kept coming back. You know, the same people that when he was doing all these deals with different companies. You know, 'cause, it was going to be a massive deal. You know, like with CBS, and they just every time we were like in magazines or you know, doing good gigs. They'd come out like sharks in it, you know, sensing blood, and they'd come out and try and get a piece of what you're doing. So, you know, in the end, the only way we could get out of these deals is we decided that if we sort of split after Sultan's Ransom, which was a great album, and we didn't want to, but it was the only way of getting out of it, and we thought we'll be out of it in about a year, but they kept renewing the contracts. Every
Mm.
they've renewed it again, you know, like and it sort of dragged on for about 8 years, and eventually we were free. So then I got the same sort of lineup back together, but it wasn't quite the same, you know, because people change, their agendas change. I never changed, you know, same. And during that time, you know, writing all this stuff together, uh, and it just wasn't the same when we got together. You know, it was good, but it didn't have the magic of like when we made Dominator and Sultan's Ransom. And
Yeah.
so in the end, you know, like the lineup kind of changes. So sometimes it's best not going back. But the thing is, it was worth a go. You know, worth just to try and see if we could capture that sort of thing. But yeah, like as people, we changed a lot. You know, like and you know I was there's only me really, who never sort of veered, like I've always been sort of very single-minded, and it's like at the time it was any, girlfriends or anything in the way, I'd just go like, yeah, just leave the dog and the guitars, and you know, like,
That's
and
funny.
it was always music, it's always music, and there was never anything to distract me from it. But everybody, didn't feel exactly the same as me. So there you go.
Well, the band has such a great discography, and I think Dominator is a great album. What made you want to do a concept record?
So this is a good one. What and why did we kind of uh, sort of break our occult theme in it as well? And we went more
Yeah.
science fiction. Uh, well, the drummer Kevin Pountney's girlfriend at the time, she was handling like the fan club, and she was kind of upset by this one individual's kind of letters. She went, "This is one sick guy." like, and he's identifying with the Night Stalker song, like he's going on about like killing people with knives and stuff.
Oh
And I
God.
went, geez, like we don't need this, like Judas Priest with the heavy metal suicide thing, and I
Yeah.
get some crazy with this. And but the thing was, she was very, really upset. And later on, if you have a look, you've got Robert Ramirez called himself the Night Stalker, and I was going like, well, my Night Stalker song is about a killer with a knife, and it's a cult themed. And that crazy person, that crazy person writing in, "I'd kill for your autographs" and all this kind of stuff. Uh, and I was going like, I hope that wasn't Robert Ramirez, basically. And I was just like thinking, well,
Wow.
we're now we've got a responsibility to our fans and stuff, and it really kind of upset me, with that kind of thing. So I'm thinking, well, if we set it in going to the future, really, we can, uh, you know, plow a new kind of path, because I was thinking, well, I'm going to leave behind the occult, because if people read things into lyrics, like I don't want to be responsible for anything like that. So he was Robert Ramirez really was the reason we uh, broke away from the occult for a while. But in the end, you realize that crazy, there's no, crazy, they're just crazy. There's nothing you can do about it. So at the end of the
Yeah.
day, if it isn't your lyrics, it'd be anything. It'd be whistling on a Tuesday. It'll make them kill people. Crazy is just crazy. So I decided, well, at the time, the main germ that set me off for thinking about the Dominator album was the scientists were experimenting with grafting. Remember that ear on that little mouse?
Yes, I know about it. I'm
And
25, but
I was
I
just
know
like
about it.
thinking, okay, just because, in the name of science, we can do something, should we? That's like playing Frankenstein. So I was thinking, well, with all the genetic engineering and stuff, what if you had a race of beings that were like super scientists, and they decided to create the perfect kind of organic life form, but instead of like a savior, they ended up with a intergalactic sort of psychopath kind of tyrant instead, because like nature has a way of biting in you in the biting you in the ass, doesn't it? Interfere with it too much. And so I was thinking, well, really, it's a kind of a statement about the dangers of genetic engineering. But if you set it in the future, you're not going to get too much bad press and everything coming back at you, because you can set it in fantasy and you can make kind of comments without being held up for it. Really, a lot of people use science fiction for that, don't they? So you can get a modern day problem, but just set it in the future and you're okay. so, so in the end, I had a kind of a intricate kind of storyline, and it was going to be just like a couple of tracks, but then I kept adding to it. So in the end, he took over the entire album. So you got like the rise and fall of like a super kind of dictator kind of thing. He's sort of came to how he came to be, and and his fall at the end kind of thing, like with Ride of Eagles. So everyone, all our fans, they really love that album. Some classic tracks, with like Nova Battlestar and our anthem, Reach for the Sky. Like and we have to play that forever. It's our paranoid, isn't it? I guess. But that's right. So over a period of time, like the fans were going like, well, we want Dominator. I killed him off at the end of the Dominator album. So we would really like another Dominator album. So in the end, I thought, oh, well, I'll give you what you want. So then I had the sort of the fun bit of kind of resurrecting him, having kind of a resurrect back from the dead on the Age of Steel album. And instead
Yeah.
of making Age of Steel last the whole album, I had it last one side, kind of like Rush did with like Cygnus. Uh, and it ended up as hemispheres on the next one. And then the concluding part was in Time Assassin. So the only way to really kill him off, you're gonna have to go back and kill him before so he never lived, kind of thing. And it was a suicide mission, so it was like a dilemma for the assassin in there. It's like by killing the Dominator, his time stream will end forever, so nobody will ever know he was a hero. Everything he ever knew would be annihilated. So it was just like the warrior code that made him follow through and kill the Dominator like at the end. Like it was an interesting kind of dilemma to sort of think about. It's like would say you went back to kill Hitler, but everything you ever knew would never have existed. So nobody would even know you did the heroic thing, but Hitler will definitely be wiped off the face of the universe in that time stream. And but would you do it, knowing everything you ever knew would cease to exist as well? So it's an interesting thing to explore. Like kind
A
of
very, very cool concept. Now,
yeah.
Assault and Ransom came out a year later. How soon did the band start working on the material for that record,
Yeah,
for
it was
Dominator?
sort of right away, really. We've sort of what I'd do, like I'd play a lot to Russ, the singer and stuff, like, hey, what do you think of this demo? What do you think about that track and everything? And he just loved the thing. He said it's very kind of it's eclectic, isn't it? You've got like, I think that's the full bandwidth of Cloven Hoof, like Sultan's Ransom. That's why it was an important album for us, because we've even got the sort of the Egyptian, the Arabian kind of sort of time signatures, like we've even got that
Yeah.
exotic kind of scale thing. We've got like speed metal, like with Death Valley Racer. We've got sort of the epic tracks like Notre Dame, and my favorite one, like Mistress of the Forest. Like, and that Mistress of the Forest was like 3 songs, kind of that wanted to belong together, and so it's like three separate songs but made one, and I just needed the right kind of storyline for it, so I joined them together. And it's one of those sort of magical albums that it didn't really take much sort of messing around. All those songs came quite quickly, and our style really, everybody's after Dominator and stuff. We played together so long that it was very natural, and everybody played the songs. Like we got them down really quickly. Like, and it's a great album. He's right. It is quite eclectic. Like we explore the full kind of Cloven Hoof bandwidth there. And that was like the template for like the finished article, really, like of what we are. Like you will get epic songs. We will play fast ones. We will play slow ones, and and all the epic kind of stuff. So it's a really important one. So I'm
Yeah.
really, this Sultan's Ransom, even now I think it's stood up really well, and there's a lot of crowd sort of live favorites in there, like Highlander and everything. Like we always have to play songs off Sultan's Ransom.
It's a great record. Now, many, many years later, you guys put out the definitive part one, re-released a lot of songs. What made you want to return to previous tracks and kind of like re-record them?
Yeah, we like with Dominator, it had everything in terms of what you could think of really for great songs. The songs are fantastic, but we couldn't understand, like with the production, how good it sounded like in the studio, and Guy Biddymead, who, I mean, he worked with like Whitesnake and Motorhead. He was the engineer. He was the engineer on Topographic Oceans of Yes, like, and I couldn't believe that album. They literally played the whole thing, all the way, without any breaks or anything. I mean, that makes me love them even more. Like, get that together. So he was there. So his pedigree and everything. It should have been uh, an amazing sort of production. And at the end, we were very disappointed because, maybe it was in the mastering or something, but it didn't sound half as powerful. Like when the album came out as it was in the studio. Everybody loves the album, and and I love the album, but you're loving the songs, and the production should have been so much better. So I think that's why we wanted to do definitive, so you can hear a lot of the detail that probably got missed, like on Dominator. I mean, if we did it now, you'd really have it, it would sound amazing because we've got all the we've got that production down now.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, what a shame with those albums. It's very tempting. You'd love to do it, wouldn't you? But sometimes you can ruin the magic, can't you? There's a lot of fans that don't touch it, leave it as it is. Like, and yeah, it's a fine line. I suppose live versions would get past that, I suppose. But I would love to do all the albums again. I'd love it. With today's production. Now we know what we're doing in the studio.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You've uh-huh.
it just takes years, doesn't it? And experience, and like in a studio, it's a def. It's it's chalk and cheese really from live. Like you've got instant like feedback, and you got all the energy, and the more crazy the crowd go, the more crazy we kind of play. And but you haven't got in a studio. It's kind of very sort of sterile at times, and that's why I'm glad we sort of went back with the sort of the live feel back in Heathen Cross. I'd like. I'd like to do that on all our albums now. I don't want any more sort of processed stuff. It's too sterile, and I want to feel that live energy in the studio. Like
Yeah.
of the band really sort of. It's very true to the band. Like more to our. I mean, some people have just said, you're even better live than on album because of that energy. The energy level that we put out, and I think a lot of metal bands are even better alive. It's great live music, metal. It's the real deal, isn't it?
It
And
is.
and I know a lot of people, sort of musicians. It just depends what sort of band you are. They like doing those albums, but out of anything, you love playing live more. That's why you're in a band, isn't it? You want to see the fans, and you all want to go crazy together. And but now it's great because we've got the studio techniques. We know what we're looking for, and we've got a fantastic producer. And so it bodes well for the future. Like you never believe this. I've just got this, and then the vinyl album comes Friday. But last Sunday, I went into the studio to start work on the next one. I'm like mapping it out for the next one. This is crazy. This one isn't even out there yet. It's released the end of May, and I've already started on the next album.
Keep the gears flowing,
Well,
keep them
yeah,
turning.
you got to do it. Like with me, at the back of my head as well. It's like with your, I want to get all this music down because my ears are getting super battered. I went to the doctor, like, and they went for an ear. They did an ear test, and he goes like, okay, we'll go and test your ears at this frequency, and he put it on, like, okay, get ready. And I sort of going, I was waiting for like a minute, I'm going, like, okay, I'm ready, go and switch it on. He went, I have. Couldn't you hear that? And I went, I went, I can't hear shit, like, and like, and he went, you couldn't even hear that, and it was like, no, not at all. So my ears, after all these, I mean, Cloven Hoof in a rehearsal, in the rehearsal room, we sound like a B-52 bomber taking off. We're just like plaster comes down from the
Hell
ceiling.
yeah.
And there's only one way to play metal, and that's loud. And I know a lot of, I mean, the warning's there for all the bands starting out. Yeah, wear your earplugs. It's kind of too late for me. I need to feel the bass hit me in the chest, like, like I need to feel that bass drum pushing air, kind of thing. So, I've wrecked my ears, like but the main thing is I want to get all this music out before they go. So
Yeah, yeah. You
that's
have
my incentive.
tinnitus?
That's going to be my incentive. I'm gonna, I need to keep coming out with these albums because if I go completely deaf, at least I've left some great albums for
Yeah.
everybody to enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sucks. I'm like 25 and I have a little bit of tinnitus because I was just seeing way too many basement shows. Now I got the very expensive earplugs. Um I've already, you've given me so much of your time already, but I gotta
Oh,
ask,
I could talk to you forever, my man.
me
It's
too, man. We're jumping around here, but you've come such a far way from being called air. Um
yeah, I am. You know what? What a great concept, though. I mean, the thing is, that was
cool. Yeah.
that was also way ahead of our time as well. Because look at all the Marvel films and everything. Now we got the technology and everything to do it properly, haven't they? You know what I mean? Like they've got the costume designs and all the special effects they've got. I mean, it'd be incredible, really, wouldn't it?
If you return to it.
Uh, not as a band because I a few years ago before I had that knee trouble, maybe because me on stage, I run around all over the place,
Yeah.
and I wreck me knees as well. Everything's wrecked,
The
and
ears, the
in the name
knees,
of metal, knees.
the
Knee
voice.
replacement. I've got bionic knee. But like a few years, you can kind of carry it off. But the thing is, it's like as a sort of like a special project, like a film or something. It would be really good seeing that because the concept was really good because
Where'd it
you,
come from?
the original concept, what I like in witchcraft, the pentagram, the magic circle, and the at the east, south, west, north, all of those, they've all got an elemental. They're guarded by the elements, by an elemental.
Uh-huh.
And the funny thing was, we were all like, it worked 100% with that lineup. I was Gemini, that's an air sign. Sagittarius, that's a fire sign. The drummer was Taurus, he was an earth sign, and Dave was a Pisces. All of us, it actually worked. We were all that proper elemental thing. So I think, it made me thinking, well, that's cool. We got like the thunder of the bass and everything, and leaping guitar notes and the earthquake of the drums. This is cool. This is like a Kiss thing, but it's more elaborate. It really works. So the thing is, it's like those kind of Firewall Earth and Air characters work really well. Very sort of cohesive as well, like and sort of linked with the occult and stuff. So I thought of a really kind of original kind of storyline with it and stuff. So I loved it. So that deal with CBS was going to be massive. We were going to Shepperton Studios, and we are going to have like this. It's like World, and it kind of sort of opened up, and all the lighting rigs on the inside, like, and it was going to be amazing. But it's all based on that sort of concept, the heavy metal Men of Steel kind of concept. And that was quite disappointing. Like when when our manager died, like, but like
Mhm.
it's still a great concept, like it would work in today's environment, I think, especially because of like Marvel. So if it was kind of part of like a storyline, like for like a film, I think that'd be great, like and a kind of I'm always thinking of kind of storylines because, my sort of fascination with kind of myths and legends and comic books and horror stuff. I'm always
Yeah.
thinking of, I mean, all our songs are kind of storylines. So, I see all our songs as like mini movies, like, and that they would really lend themselves to super elaborate videos, really, I guess. But definitely in the Marvel Comics kind of vein, it would be really good. Hey, you never know. Maybe, it just needs the right person sort of coming along, going, "Hey, we could do something with that." So you
What
never
made
know.
you guys drop the elemental names?
We did it just after that massive deal fell through, because I'm thinking we're not going to be able to do it justice, because you need, like, it needs to be top level, like uh massive major company like CBS was. They're Sony now, aren't they? And they could do it justice. So we're not going to be able to do it justice that way. And we're just going to have to just let the music do the talking at the end of the day. And the music's always was the most important, like the concept and everything, as good as it is, it's only to enhance it, you know, the music's the most important. And that was our prime strength anyway. So we soldiered on. So it was you know, so many people would love to see it, but yeah, it's got to be done right. You do something like, you got to do it right. Like, you can't do it half-assed. It's got to be.
If the opportunity presents itself,
Yeah,
we
you know.
would love to see
Yeah,
it.
I'll probably jump at I'd probably really love to do it. Yeah.
Well, what's the future of Cloven Hoof look like? Like the broad scale of things.
Yeah, at the moment we got the obviously when the album's released, they're going to release Sabbath Stones as well soon as another
Cool.
single. From there, that'll be great. There's a live video recorded at Bang Your Head that's supposed to be coming out in the summer as well. Me working on this new album, and we've got, yeah, and I mean, that's the main thing, because people don't realize uh, how time consuming the album is. Like, I was thinking, well, look, if we keep the gigs down and we finish off in Munich in November, let's get this next one done. And then next year we'll play everywhere, like, and people want us to play in America and all sorts of places. And that'd be brilliant, because we had the most fun ever, that we did 2 tours of America. It was the most fun I've ever had in my life. It was just amazing. It was every night, proper road warrior, like, I mean, it's probably okay when you're in your 20s, but hey, we played every single night. Every single night for about like 2 months, and it was incredible. I remember this
Damn.
one crazy gig where I think could be Chicago. I think it was Detroit. We're in Detroit, and we drove all the way down to New Orleans, and because I didn't have to drive, because we drive on the opposite side of the road, they wouldn't let me near drive. I'd get so killed right away. Uh, we got to New Orleans, and I thought it was about 9, 10 o'clock at night, like, and a real good friend of mine, he's a fantastic jazz musician, and he always wanted to go to Bourbon Street in New Orleans, kind of a pilgrimage, but he died. He never made it. So I'm thinking, well, hey, I'm going to go off to Bourbon Street, just as a little homage for him. Uh, and the rest of the guys sort of just went back to the hotel, get their heads down. They were like exhausted. Uh, I was wrong about 10 o'clock at night. It was 3 in the morning. So I'm walking down to Bourbon Street, the only person like walking around, around at that late at night. And I had some sunglasses, and it kind of looked like a gun. It looked like, and so I
Common
walked into
mistake.
Bourbon Street. Now, Bourbon Street in the day, hey, like, oh, jazz, do. 3 o'clock in the morning, it's full of crackheads, like, serious. They look like something out of Thriller. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the mist starts coming in. So you got, like, you're walking knee deep in this mist with all these, like, they look like Village of the Damned, like, all around you. And I heard one of them say, that white guy he's packing. So obviously he thought I had a gun, but it was my sunglasses. I didn't have any gun. So the thing is, I sort of walk past them and everything, like, give you plenty of attitude, so you don't know they give you. And it was like, do I walk past about 20 crackheads that way, or do I walk through the darkened alleyways at the other end? With all the mist and everything. It looked like something out of Twilight or something,
It's like
like.
the Thriller
So I
music
go,
video.
let's go and walk through the shadows. So I carry on walking. And apart from a few crackheads by the bins and stuff, like, uh, and then when I came out the other end, typical Cloven Hoof, where did I come out? Graveyard and a voodoo shop.
You can't escape it.
No, 3 o'clock in the morning. This idiot is out there on my. And when I got to the hotel, that look, you never went down there. You crazy, like you can't do that sort of stuff. Like it'd be full of muggers, and I said it was. But hey,
Oh my God. That's a funny story, man.
it's only me. It only happens to me, mate. I'll tell you.
Yeah, of course. Well, what's the best way for people to stay updated with everything Cloven Hoof?
Yeah, well, the website. Most people follow us like on Facebook anyway. And the official releases. We've got the clovenhoof.net on there. Just check it on there. But on Facebook, um, and the, there's never any like wrong reports on there. So yeah, you can take that to the bank, really, I guess.
Cool.
So next year we'll I've said we'll play absolutely everywhere. Let's do it. But I just want to get the next album down. I really do, and it takes a while. So
Well, listen, man, if you're in New England, let me know and we'll do an
fantastic. Yeah,
in-person
you'll be
thing.
the first to know. Yeah.
Yeah, in Boston or close to Boston. If not, let's do a part two for the next record.
You better believe it. Fantastic. I've enjoyed every minute.
Me
Like
too, Lee. Thank you so much, man. I
you
really
take care.
appreciate it. I'm Brandon Battick, and this is Disturbing the Priest.